Well, hello and welcome to our thought for the day for Thursday, the 30th of July. My name is Graham Hoslett. There are five senses, aren't there? We have the sense of sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch. I think those are the five senses, aren't they? We can take them so much for granted. But how important each of them are. How sad when one or other of them are impaired for us. One of the things that I love doing at this time of year is looking at and smelling the flowers. How beautiful flowers are at this time of year. I wonder what your favourite flowers are. But also I like smelling the flowers. And walking round the gardens at Stoke Park last evening, looking at the lovely roses. But one of the things that I noticed was how little perfume there was on most of them. I must admit, when roses can smell so wonderfully, I don't really see the point of roses that have no fragrance. Why have a lovely looking rose but one that has no smell, when you can have a lovely rose, but also with a beautiful perfume? But how important our senses are for us. How sad when one or other of our senses are impaired. One of the weird things that Psalm 115, our psalm for today, does is remind us that just as our senses matter to us, how important it is that these are senses our God shares in as well. Psalm 115, verse 1 begins, "Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory because of your love and faithfulness." But then it goes on, "Why do the nations say, where is their God? Our God is in heaven, he does whatever pleases him." But then verse 4 says, "But their idols are silver and gold, made by human hands. They have mouths but cannot speak, eyes but cannot see. They have ears but cannot hear, noses but cannot smell. They have hands but cannot feel, feet but cannot walk, nor can they utter a sound with their throats. Those who make them will be like them, and so will all who trust in them." But why do the nations say, where is their God? At that time, it was easy for the nations, the peoples round about Israel, to show you what their gods looked like. Most of the nations were idol-worshipping nations. Most homes of the surrounding peoples had shrines with any number of little household gods lined up in them. If an Israelite had asked, "Where is your God?" they might have said, "Well, here." And pointing to an idol sitting in the corner, they might have said, "Isn't he or she beautiful?" But the Israelites weren't meant to be like that. Israel was meant to be different. As Jesus said, God is spirit. It was wrong to imagine that anyone on earth could make anything on earth that might even come close to describing God or representing what God is like. So the first two of the Ten Commandments explicitly prohibited worshipping anyone other than him and anything else than him. So to understand the question asked by the nations of the people of Israel in Psalm 115, where is their God? Perhaps it's best to imagine someone standing in front of us, holding in their hand a little idol, maybe even one made of silver and gold. And that person saying, "Well, here is my God, where is yours?" The answer, "Our God is in heaven, he does whatever pleases him." Well, it makes the point, he's not at our beck and call, we are at his, but our God is in heaven doesn't mean that he isn't active, involved, engaged, totally, absolutely, completely in our lives here. but engaged in a totally different way than any other god might be. Their idols are silver and gold made by human hands. They have mouths but cannot speak, eyes but cannot see. They have ears but cannot hear, noses but cannot smell. I love that in verse 6. You know that old joke, my dog doesn't have a nose, how does he smell? Awful. Well, in verse 6, their idols have noses, but they cannot smell. The inference being, well, he can and he does. How does your God smell? He smells wonderfully well. They have hands but cannot feel, feet but cannot walk. But he moves. How he moves. Just because he is in heaven and you can't see him doesn't mean that he can't see you. Just because he is spirit and you can't hold him, touch him, feel him, doesn't mean he can't hold, touch, feel or speak to you. Verses 9 to 11 of Psalm 115. All you Israelites, trust in the Lord. He is their help and shield. House of Aaron, trust in the Lord. He is their help and shield. You who fear him, trust in the Lord. He is their help and shield. In verse 12, the Lord remembers us and will bless us. He will bless his people Israel. He will bless the house of Aaron. He will bless those who fear the Lord, small and great alike. The prayer of verse 14 and 15, may the Lord cause you to flourish, both you and your children. May you be blessed by the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Their idols, well, they had eyes, but they can't really see. They had ears, they can't really hear. They had a mouth, but they can't really speak. But the prayer of verse 14 and 15, may the Lord cause you to flourish, both you and your children. May you be blessed by the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Verse 16 contains a warning. The highest heavens belong to the Lord, but the earth he has given to the human race. We sang in our worship on Sunday, or we listened to, he's got the whole world in his hands. And he has. But he has also placed the whole world in our hands. We need to take care of this place, this good earth. We are responsible before God for how we handle what he has entrusted to us. But given who he is, and that unlike the gods of others, he is real and true and sentient. He senses, he knows. I love the way the psalm begins. Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory because of your love and faithfulness. The one true God, the one who is not made, who is not the product of our own hands or imagination. Well, this God speaks, sees, hears, smells, feels, and utters. This God is calling you. Will you give yourself today to the glory of this glorious one? May this Lord cause you to flourish, both you and your children. May you be blessed by the Lord. May you be blessed by the Lord who is not made by us, but may you be blessed by the Lord who is the maker of heaven and earth. May you be blessed by the Lord. Will you give yourself to his glory today? May you be blessed by him as you do so. Amen.